So, what's the difference between Western medicine and alternative medicine? If you want to learn more about it, you really want to tune into this episode. I had the opportunity to spend time today with Allison Beninato. She is the CEO and founder of Inspire Collaborative Health Association right here in Omaha, Nebraska. She is a wife, mother, founder. She's founded 4 organizations, and she's just doing incredible things. You don't want to miss this episode. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Kara Kirsch, the founder and host of the Ignite Women in Business and Insurance podcast. I'm so excited. It's Friday. We are in Omaha, Nebraska. It's supposed to be 45 degrees today. And today I am here with an amazing woman who I am not even going to try and read any bio or anything like that because I want her to share her story. But I'm happy today to invite Allison Beninato, who is the CEO and founder of Inspire Collaborative Health Association. And she's going to break all of that down for us today. But Allison, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, love it so much. So how was your morning? What'd you do today so far?
Oh, I've been in meetings and I've been getting kids to school and just living that CEO mom life.
Yeah.
Just doing all the things.
For sure. So tell us a little bit about you, where you're from. I always joke around and say you're from your mother, but other than your mother, where are you from? Tell us about your life.
Yeah, so originally I'm from Fremont, so along 30 miles down the road west. But yeah, I've been in Omaha now for, like 20 years.
Mhm.
So yeah, from Fremont originally, so not too far away.
Yeah. And where'd you go to school? What'd you study?
Yeah,
How many kids do you have? Are you married? All that.
all the things. Yes. So I have a degree in applied science and health information management systems. I have been in healthcare for 24 years, Western medicine for 24 years, alternative medicine for 11. We can dive more into that later. But yes, I am married to my wonderful husband, Jaron, and we have 2 girls, Amelia and Juliana, and they are 7 and 10. So very fun ages, and they are definitely keeping us busy. And right now we're gearing up for Christmas, all the Christmas activities. And
What was the big thing on their list this year?
a mini fridge. Each of them wanted a mini.
What is going
fridge.
on with this mini fridge?
I don't know.
This is a whole vibe.
Is it?
So,
Okay.
yes, all these young girls are wanting mini fridges to keep their beauty products
Yes.
in. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
I don't even keep my beauty products
I
in
don't
any
know.
fridge. Like, what?
I know, and they don't. They're 7 and 10, so they don't. I mean,
What beauty
Yeah.
products?
lotion, which doesn't need to be refrigerated. I don't know, and so, so I think they just want to keep like little snacks and stuff. Like they don't.
And you're like, we don't eat in bedrooms.
I know. And that's what I said that to my husband. I was like, if we put a fridge in their room, then they're just gonna put snacks in there. And I go, and then it's just gonna get like something's gonna get open. There's gonna be bugs. And he's like,
Rats.
He's like, oh, don't be a Grinch. So he's always like the salt. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. But when we've got bugs upstairs, like from their open can of Olipop or whatever, I'm gonna say, I told you so. But whatever. So
You're going to call the exterminator.
Yeah.
You're yawing the guy. Yeah, I have been hearing about this mini fridge thing. And actually, I also heard recently that because my kids are grown up.
yeah.
So when we want mini fridges, it's to stock, vodka.
Yes. It's a different use.
It's a different kind of use. But apparently there's some skin lines that are coming out with prepubescent skin products. So that are more
Oh.
holistic, so they say, and more natural because young girls, as you know, they're beautiful skin. They don't have
Yes.
acne.
I
There's no, what are we recovering from?
I know. There's like a crease or a line or a zit inside. And I'm like, just put some lotion on. Right. Good. It's dry.
Get the Vaseline.
Yeah.
Yes, I love all of that.
Yeah.
7 and 10 is such a fun age.
I know. They're
Such
so
a fun
fun.
age. What grades are those?
2nd and 4th.
Oh, second. I love
I
second
know.
grade.
I know.
One of the things that's on my list to get done next year is I would like to be a religious education teacher at the Catholic Church because I'm Catholic.
Wonderful.
And I've always wanted to. My parents were, but they were CCD teachers for high school kids. And I was the high school kid in the class. And I was fucking mortified. Okay. On the reg. And so I'm like, okay, no high school kids, but let me do 4th grade.
Okay.
Because I don't want to do any sacrament work.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't want to prepare for First Holy Communion.
Yeah.
I don't want to prepare for First Confirmation and Reconciliation. No. Just keep it simple. Yes.
Yeah.
And I need them to be able to know when they need to use the restroom
Yes.
and if they're going to throw up.
Yes. that happy medium where they're still young and innocent, but they're also a little self-sufficient.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So, what exactly is alternative healthcare? You said Western medicine and alternative
Yeah.
medicine.
Yeah.
Break both of those down for our listeners,
Yeah.
because even I didn't know really the difference until very recently. So break
Sure.
that down.
Sure. Yeah. So they go under lots of different terms. So Western, you could say Western, conventional,
Oh,
allopathic, like all these things. And then on the alternative side, you could say alternative, complementary, holistic. So people just kind of use those words interchangeably. They all essentially mean the same thing. We all kind of know what they mean is, what falls under that traditional umbrella is pharmaceuticals and doctors and hospitals, all those types of things, the kind of reactive medicine.
yeah.
And then under more of the alternative umbrella or alternative side of things is going to be more of root cause, preventative, all those types of things. So now you're looking more at, naturopaths, herbalists, acupuncturists, maybe different actual medicine practices like traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, things like that. So yeah, you even gets into, energy medicine, so Reiki, healing touch, things like that. So, I mean,
Oh,
there is,
no, that was part of it.
yeah, I mean, there is under the umbrella of CAM, which is complementary alternative medicine, there's over 50 modalities. So there's a lot on that side to choose from and kind of sort through
Yeah.
and know about. So,
Yeah. And why was this something that was of interest to you? I remember the first time we had coffee and you were able to share a little bit about, and for those that aren't watching us on video, um, when I look at you,
yeah.
you are the picture of health.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
nice of you.
um, and I don't mean it in a external appearance way. I mean that never have I seen you not bring your water. And I yesterday, I don't think I drank any water, which I definitely need to work on. But just those kinds of things. And I can just tell that you're committed to the vibe and energy you give off is just that you're committed to it. But I remember from our first conversation that it wasn't always like that,
Mm-mm.
that you had gone through something.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about
Yeah.
how you got to what you're doing and what you're passionate about?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, for 24 years, have worked in Western medicine. People always say, well, what did you do in Western medicine? Well, on the clinical side, I did more of medical assisting, pharmacy tech, phlebotomy, and nuclear stress test aid, things like that. And then on the administrative side, everything from receptionist all the way up to office management, billing, credentialing, contracting, all of that. So when it comes to medical clinics, I can literally run them from front to back. I just understand how they work, and I actually have a medical billing company. That was my first business. I'm on my fourth now. So yeah. But about 11 years ago, it's probably 12 years ago now. I was having health issues of my own, and I wasn't getting any resolve to them pharmaceutically. And I had tried a lot of different medical providers. And so, honestly, out of sheer desperation, I went and sought out an herbalist. And I went to him with a very high level of skepticism and very, very low expectations because, again, all I knew up until that point was Western medicine. And we were kind of taught that anything outside of Western medicine was anecdotal and woo woo and ridiculous and, wasn't going to work. And so that's the frame of mind that I went into this herbalist. But again, I was so desperate that I didn't care. I was like, I will try anything.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I went to him, and to my surprise, over the next 3 years, he had helped me with 3 different health issues where my medical providers had all kind of thrown their hands up and were like, I don't know what to tell you. And so at that point, then my clinical mind became very curious. And I was like, okay, well, this isn't anecdotal and woo woo. There is science and history and chemistry. And what is it? So I started going to school myself. I went to school for 3 years studying herbalism. Then I went to school for 2 more years studying naturopathy. And then I sat and took my boards and became a board certified naturopath. And so, in my time of going through that journey with myself and kind of understanding the body and understanding the mind and just how our belief systems and I mean, there was a lot of spiritual reflection and growth, and along with all that physical growth, and just really kind of breaking down everything that I thought I knew and understood and kind of rebuilding it I was running this medical billing business. And then as I was getting these certifications, then I also had started a health consulting business because people started saying, well, can you help me? And so I was having these doctors that I was working with all the time come to me and go, oh, you're an herbalist or a naturopath now. Can we refer patients to you? Or do you know other trusted alternative practitioners? Because they were seeing an increase in people going, I don't want to be on medication for the rest of my life. What else do you got?
Yes.
And as I was meeting more and more of these alternative practitioners, they were going, oh, you know doctors. Well, do you know open-minded doctors, ones that are willing to work with us? Um, and so really quickly between the two sides, I became this hub point. And then there was family, friends, community members. Everybody was very quickly figuring out that I was walking this very polarized fence of healthcare. And so, yeah, it just didn't take me long to realize, like, man, there is a massive demand here and no one is supplying this demand. And this was all spring, summer 2021. So we were still pretty hard at COVID
Yeah.
during this time. And so I just thought, man, I'm no one's creating a solution for this. Well, maybe I should. And then the second thought was, do I really want to create or try to create a solution in the middle of a pandemic? Is now a good time to try to change healthcare? And I thought, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And so I went for it. And I can say without a doubt, 150% COVID helped it because I think people just became a little exhausted by this one size fits all model. And so they started being curious about what else is out there and what else can we do? Or, why was everybody having these different reactions and how individualized our healthcare really needs to be.
Yeah.
And how it shouldn't be just, everybody gets the same thing. So yeah, the timing of it really, really did help. And so that's what I did with the Inspire Collaborative Health Association is a nonprofit. And it bridges the healthcare gap between medical providers and alternative practitioners to create more healthcare solutions for the community. And as a byproduct of bringing those two fields of medicine together, two teams, if you will, of medicine together, we're able to offer community services like helping people pay for their non-insurance covered healthcare, having clinical liaisons for people to talk to. So you can set up a time to speak with a ICHA clinical liaison and just explain what you're going through. And then they can give you, without diagnosing, prescribing, or persuading you one way or another, but just say, here's all your options across both fields. And, helping people just really understand what those options are. And then when they say, okay, yeah, I'm curious about that. If they have questions, they can ask. Or if they just need a referral, then they can go to our directory. And because we are still in our infancy, the nonprofit is only 3 years old. Even if it's a provider that's not yet in our directory, I don't gatekeep. I just want to help people feel good. I don't want anybody to ever feel the way I did. When I went to that herbalist, I felt completely hopeless. I was like, nothing is going to help. There is no solution. There is, and this is forever, And I just remember how lonely and hopeless that felt. And I don't want anybody else to feel that way. So yeah, even if there's someone that's not in our directory, we still try to get them connected to someone that can help them.
Yeah. Well, there were so many things that you said in that story that I want to lean into a little bit.
Yeah.
And you probably saw, and I think I told you when we got together last time, the Kirsch Group, which is an independent employee benefits brokerage, launched. Soft launch. And thanks.
Exciting.
And full launch January 19th. And many of the things that you used to describe why you did what you did are exactly aligned with me. And the first time I saw you was at the women's entrepreneurial business meeting that is founded, I think, by Pamela Flynn.
Yes, correct. Yep.
And I have yet to meet her in person, but I'm hoping to in the first of the year. Yeah. And I saw you there and I thought, wow. And someone asked me what I did. And at that time I was still working for a firm and they said, you have to meet Allison. So I walk over, I meet you, and then together we have a coffee meeting set up. And the first time I met you, I think I was in a period of so much exhaustion and burnout from my job that I probably didn't hear most of what that day was. And I don't know if you knew that, but I knew you were someone that I felt drawn to get to know better. And so even the second time we got together, I was able to hear more because my burnout is slowly changing and becoming inspiration and excitement and
Amazing.
energy and all those things. But you said you were exhausted by a one size fits all model. That's why the Kirsch Group has been founded. I'm exhausted by a one size fits model. You're curious. I think that women, especially, are very curious when we go through a personal challenge. And our curiosity typically is, what can I do to make it better? How many times have we seen women do that?
Yeah.
So many. You also talked about your clinical liaisons, and I'd love to learn more about that. But in my business, I think about who will be my liaisons for my clients, and that you're not a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
One of the things I say in my business is, as a licensed agent of insurance, I don't keep people from my knowledge, whether you're my client or not. Anyone can call me and I'll be like, this is how it works. And here's why. I didn't always used to be like that, but someone taught me once, no one can really execute on your idea. So you can tell them all day long, but they really can't go into the world and do it.
Right.
They have to come back to you usually if they really want to do it.
Right.
And then lastly is, you didn't want people to feel like you felt. And I feel exactly the same way. So all of the things that you've described about your journey are the reasons that I have been compelled to get to know you. And so I appreciate those things about you, and that you have continued to participate in this new relationship with me.
Yeah.
Because I think that together, as I learn more about what you do and how I can support you, I think it's going to come back.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about that.
Oh.
So tell me about after the nonprofit, then what happened?
Yeah. So started the nonprofit, and I mean, the word I use so much from the time that I started this is serendipity. Like, I have used that word and still to this day, like almost weekly, I would say, because there was so many people, especially on both sides of medicine, but especially on the alternative side, where they almost kind of poo-pooed me for trying this because they're like, we've been trying to break into Western medicine and get the respect of doctors.
You've tried everything.
Yeah. And so they're like, good luck, but it's not gonna happen. And I'm like, well, but you're not me. And you don't have this approach.
That's right.
Everything's different.
That's right.
So
you might say it in a way that people can hear.
yeah.
I always say that about myself too. I'm like,
Yeah.
I say it in a different way and people are like, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, again, it's, when you just if you ever sit and reflect on your life and you look at all the different things that you've gone through, good and bad, and just what you've learned from them. And even the points where maybe when you were in them and you thought, God, what is the point of this? And then now you have this moment to reflect on it and say, that gave me this skill or this strength, or what did I learn from that, and how it's now coming into play. And it all just kind of beautifully fits together. And it just seems like, okay, this feels like it was orchestrated. Like, this is just too, again, serendipitous to just be, so yeah, it really has just continued to be that way, where I got told by people like, good luck, but I don't think you're going to get anywhere. And we had a fundraiser last year. It was amazing. We had rave reviews. We had both Methodist and UNMC were sponsors at it, and among many other healthcare companies across town. And I mean, it's not just me that is seeing this. And I think it's because there really is kind of this shift that's taking place, and everybody is seeing it. And it's just that up until now, no one's known how do you merge the two worlds? And I've just been in both worlds now for so long. And just because of the experience that I have, I just was able to kind of see this direction. And I've also feel like, again, I've been kind of serendipitously guided and had people put in my path. And when I don't know how to solve something, or I don't know the person that I would maybe need, whatever your word is, I pray or I manifest or whatever your word or belief is on it. But I put that out there, and it's like within a day, a week, I mean, it comes to me, and I just, I'm just forever grateful. And I just constantly pray and I'm grateful. And gratitude is always
Me too.
where I'm living. It's
Me
just
too.
thank you, thank you, thank you. There's always something to be grateful for. And that's not to say, where you don't have hard days or it's not that I'm human, right? So there's still hard things that you have to go through. But overall, the gratitude is just
Yeah. I sometimes
different.
say every day is a choice.
Mhm.
And 95% of my days, I choose something great.
Yeah.
Whether it's I choose to be happy, I choose to have peace, I choose to participate, I choose to lean into something hard. 5% are the days when I choose to isolate,
Mhm.
to repair, and repair isn't even the right word, regenerate
Yeah.
myself. And I think that's really important. And as women, we don't do that enough. We don't.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I did it, which I just was at home and I had nothing to do.
It's a
And
weird feeling.
it's such a weird feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm an empty nester, so my kids are grown up. And so when I'm alone at my home, I am alone at my home. There is no, Mom, what's for dinner?
Yeah.
Mom, I'm coming over. My kids are fiercely independent.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is not okay. Like, I cannot stay here. So I texted my cousin Lindsay, who is a therapist, and I was like, I'm really struggling over here. I'm alone. I have nothing to do. I'm not stressed. I feel peace. I've prayed. I've done all the things.
Yeah.
And she's like, that is awesome for you. She said, that is rest.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
rest. I don't know about you, but I rarely saw my mother rest.
Yeah.
And so if I can even lean into that a little and teach in my, non-documented degreed way,
Yeah.
that rest is important. It's okay to rest. This morning, my alarm went off and I didn't get out of bed till 8
Good for you.
because I didn't have to.
Good for you.
And I was like, okay, like this is okay.
Yeah.
Well, so what about the company? So
Yeah.
after the nonprofit, I know we talked about this a little bit at one of our coffees, is just now the company is formed.
Yeah. So it was always my intent when I started the nonprofit to create a for-profit arm off of the nonprofit. But I mean, strategically, I'm only one person. And so you just have to, you can only put so many irons in the fire at once. So you have to kind of get the foundation laid for that and kind of get that to be a well-oiled machine working on its own before you can start venturing off into other things, right? But I mean, a ideal nonprofit model is that you have a for-profit arm and they fuel each other. They both bring each other business and money, and they just continue to cycle through like that. And so it was always my intent, but it was just a matter of timing. And I always leave that very open. I don't know what God and the universe and it has in store. So I try to be very open-minded with that and not put these very strict constructs onto oh, I have to meet this by this dead. I
Yeah.
try to leave it pretty open because I'm like, who knows what's gonna happen? Um, and so yeah, again, very serendipitously, a series of meetings and introductions happened, and I got put in front of a healthcare investment company, and I pitched them the nonprofit, which they're a healthcare investment company, so they don't do nonprofits. But
Right.
again, because of all these things, I got in front of them, and they really loved what I was doing, and one conversation led to another, and now, long story short, is now here I am creating. I had a notebook of 29 different for-profit arms that could potentially come off of this nonprofit,
Wow.
and so I was like, all right, now it's time for me to tap into the notebook, and I knew which one made the most sense to be the initial next business. And so yeah, with their guidance and encouragement and help and whatever, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. They really believed in what I had created with the nonprofit, and so they wanted to try to support me in doing the next phase, and so that's what's happening.
And so the company name is
So that is called Cam Serta.
Cam Serta. And I don't think I ever heard you define Cam. Today was the first time I heard.
Oh,
I know
really?
you did before.
Okay.
There, the thing about meeting with intelligent people
Yeah.
that have a different kind of intelligence than your own is it's often hard to remember
Yeah.
all of the things they say.
Oh, sure.
So if you were in an insurance broker and you were like, hey, don't forget this part of a stop loss contract, I'd be like, yep, 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 yep.
Yep.
But every time I meet with you, I learn something new. And I'm like,
Oh.
we're probably going to have to meet all these times before I'm like, here's what she does, here's who she is, da, da, da.
Yeah.
So CAMSERTA.
Yeah. So CAM is an acronym for complementary alternative medicine.
Yeah, I wrote that down today.
Yeah. And CERTA is, certification,
Yeah.
verification, all that type of thing.
And so what does CAMSERTA do?
CAMSERTA is the first credentialing verification platform for complementary and alternative medicine providers. So right now, the complementary and alternative medicine world is as many people know, a very highly unregulated area. So you could walk out the door today and be like, hey, I like plants. I think I want to call myself an herbalist. And there's no law against that. And
I grew up some marijuana in my basement. Am I an herbalist?
I'm just saying, some people might count that. I don't know.
Right.
So that's what's scary about that world is like anybody could just decide, hey, I'm going to call myself that. Or maybe they just read, a quick article or a book in their mom's basement and they're like, I can do that, so you just don't know. So that's where there has always been this kind of pause or uncertainty with Western medicine working with alternative medicine because they're like, who do we know to trust? How do we know? There's no
I didn't
standardized.
feel like that in Western medicine.
Well, right. I mean,
Because I'm like, one day you get this advice from one person. And as a woman, I have my primary care and I have my gynecologist. And years ago, I was probably in my early 40s and I had been on the pill for a long time.
Sure.
And I had started to get migraines. And I talked to my primary care and she's like, all right, well, I'm going to write you a prescription for this. And so I took that and the migraines it didn't touch the migraines.
Oh.
And it wasn't migraine medicine. It was like Tylenol with caffeine in it.
Oh.
I forget what it was called. Anyway, it continued. And so then I happened to be at my annual exam and I said to my gynecologist, I'm having headaches like every day.
Okay.
And she's like, well, did you talk to your primary care about it? And the two aren't in the same system, the hospital system.
Right.
So I kept getting all the stuff. And finally I went back. I mean, it was like years, 3 to 5 years. And on the last one, my primary care was like, wait a minute, you're on the pill? And I said, yeah. And she goes, but you've had your tubes tied. And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, why are you on the pill? And I'm like, because my periods are terrible. Like I'm talking about puking, all the things. And so I'm trying to not go through that because I want to enjoy my life.
Sure.
And she was like, well, actually, the estrogen is probably causing your headaches and you could stroke out. So I'm like, great. My grandmother had a stroke. And so she was like, I think you should go off the pill, cold turkey. I was terrified, Allison.
Okay.
And because I was like, I'm going to go back to this once a month for 4 days where I'm unable to be in my life. And thankfully, that didn't happen. My period went right back to regular. The headaches went away. And it was, in fact, probably associated with the estrogen. But I share that with you because it took 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm a person that gets my preventive care every year. I'm a person that is pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Other than I did disclose that I just didn't drink any water yesterday. So that's probably not so good. But, like I even think in Western medicine, we're bombarded with all of these things.
Kind of conflicting.
And we're trying to do the right thing so that we can have longevity. But I'm even learning now through my own curiosity, that energy and other things have a large impact on how we feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best thing that I could tell everybody is you have to be, and this is not a novel idea or concept, but you have to be your own best advocate. Nobody knows your body the way you do. And I would say, don't be afraid to be the persistent patient. If you're like, no, this is not right, something is not right, or I want to dive a little bit deeper, then do what it takes to do that dive and find providers that are willing to say, okay, I hear you. Yeah, let's see what we can do here.
Yeah.
And whether it's looking for, something that's going on, either an imbalance or something, or even if it's just to give you peace of mind.
Yes.
It's always curious to me, if there's situations or scenarios like that where someone really feels like there's something wrong. And again, you're either on this explorative, journey to find what the issue is, or at the very least get peace of mind. Why some doctors won't just do that. I know that there's obviously, depending on what it is that you're trying to pursue or get. There's
Exactly.
regulations and things like that in place. But overall, just making sure that you're. You okay? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Okay. I didn't know if that
I
was
was just looking at my notes.
okay. Okay. I didn't know if we were like close to time.
No.
So yeah, I just think again, being your best advocate is huge.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. What would you say was a pivotal time for you in your business where you may have felt like, am I cut out for this? Or a time when you got news that you didn't want or weren't expecting? How did you have resilience in moving through the hard things?
Yeah.
Can you share an example of that?
You know, um, I don't know if I have one particular thing. I mean, there's always things that you maybe have a hard day or you get an email that's kind of like,
Yeah.
that wasn't exactly what I wanted. But again, I love what I do. It really fills my cup. A lot of times people are like, you're gonna burn out and whatever. And I'm like, I don't think I am because what I'm doing is filling my cup. It's not pouring from my cup.
Yes.
And
That's the
so,
same way.
yeah. And so again, when I look back in my life, like I used to be bullied a lot through elementary, through high school. And so I kind of had to develop a thick skin and kind of be okay with like standing up for myself and whatever. And I think there was a period in my life, where you're learning that and there's like a pendulum swing where you kind of overcompensate for that and you get too tough or too calloused. And it's a protective mechanism, right? For what
Absolutely.
you've been through.
Yes.
And I think now as I have gone through these different, you know, just phases of my life and chapters, you find that balance and you go through, that for me it was like kind of a spiritual exploration and understanding and finding balance and kind of just balance in a mental and physical state and finding kind of where my level of homeostasis is
Yeah.
basically. And so, well, I'm not dodging your question, but
No, I
it's
think you found tools
yeah.
that support you when things
Yeah.
aren't easy.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really great thing because I don't believe that, like, people say work life balance. I don't think that's a thing. And as mothers and women, I think it's very hard to find balance in wanting a career and want to be a founder and a CEO and an innovator and also raising children that you want to contribute to the world
Sure.
and having a partner or a husband. I don't have a partner or a husband. So really, no one's saying to me, Kara, don't work till 10.
Right.
But I have to listen to my body and I can always tell when I haven't spent enough time with my friends
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm yearning it. I'm lonely.
Right.
But I liked what you said about balance because to me, balance is like an internal thing.
Mhm.
You know, if I had a day this week that was really hard and at the end of the day, I could feel my chest was tight, my neck was tight. I was like, I'm not going to make it through this fucking day. And so I have some tools that I use, mental health app, my my meditation app, my prayer app. And I thought, full stop,
Yeah.
full stop, because I'm 52. And so chest pain's not good.
Right.
And so I took all the time. And when I woke up the next day, my chest pain was gone.
Uh-oh.
And it wasn't just like I was having a heart attack. It was tightness across this area.
Stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I think about balance, when you said that, that really made me think of it's almost an inside job.
Yeah.
And what are the tools that we use
Yeah.
to keep balance,
Mhm.
harmony
Yeah.
inside of ourselves so that fill in the blank, we don't get sick.
Right.
We don't stroke out. We are able to be present. So you saw me kind of look away and I was not present for a second.
No, that's okay. I didn't.
And I'm like, no, it's good.
Yeah.
Because it helps us shape.
Yeah.
And grow in the moments that we're in.
Yeah.
And I love everything of that. And the other thing I'll say is, and this isn't related to your work, but the pendulum swing is a phrase I've been using recently because in my business, many of the big consulting firms have bought all the small firms.
Oh, sure.
So one of my whys is that when consolidation happens, what happens in business? Monopolistic behaviors, conflicts of interest, greed, hidden sources of revenue, and all of those things harm someone. And that someone is the employer.
Sure.
And then when the employer is harmed, the employees are harmed.
Sure.
And so that's
So-
something that I'll be putting into the world, is to say, work with who you want. When you work with me, you don't have to worry about those things. But if you work with them, ask them for proof that these things aren't happening, because they are harming you.
Sure.
And you may not know it.
Right.
And so that pendulum swing, I think it swung too far for this mergers and acquisitions in my industry.
Sure.
And it needs to come back to the roots of the people that are boots on the ground doing the work in an efficient and economically appropriate way.
Sure.
So I share that with you.
Yeah. No, long story short is I think I've been developing resilience since a young age. And at the time you're like, why are people mean to me?
Right.
You don't understand it. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm kind of, I'm not, it sounds weird to say I'm glad I got bullied, but kind of, because I'm in a market now that is heavily male dominated. And you can't be a soft, like, flower. You have to be able to, like, go sit in rooms
That's
with,
wrong.
yeah, you have to go sit at board tables with tables of CEO men, like, all around you. And they're not going to be like, oh, are we going to hurt her? They're just going to say, and so you have to be like, all right, give it to me.
Right.
And you have to have that thick skin. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very grateful for all of those hardships and things that I had to go through, because I learned from them.
Yeah. It's funny because I grew up in a small town, and I was a big girl, meaning this. I'm 5'10", so I'm tall.
Sure.
And I wasn't fat. I was just not a little petite flower. I was 5'10". I was a volleyball player. I was a cheerleader, and I probably wore a size 10, which my friends were all like 5'5", wore a size 7. And someone called me what's that word for a really big, it just escaped me, but it's like a really big animal.
Amazon?
Yes.
Okay.
And so it's Amazon is like a place, but it's
Yeah.
also the people that wear. So
Right,
anyway,
right.
he kept calling me an Amazon in front of other people. And even at a basketball game, I was cheering, and he said, "Did you see that Amazon cheering?" And like, this was before social media. So if I had been on social media and videoed, I would have been like at my house in a corner swaying back and forth with my thumb in my mouth. Like, terrible. And so I get that. And it does create resilience, and it also creates a shell that we often have to challenge ourselves to let down.
Yeah.
And so I love that you're able to share that, because if you think any woman hasn't been bullied,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. My
think
story
again.
is not unique.
Hell no.
No.
And it's often for things that you're like, really?
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're talking about?
Yeah.
We're talking about someone who is successful, who has nails that we don't like.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about someone's hair. We're talking about the size of their ass when ass is in style.
Yeah. Right.
So, like, get out of here.
Right.
What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs?
I would resilience. Have resilience. That is for sure. And perseverance.
Yeah.
Not every day is going to be easy, and it becomes, how bad do you want it?
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Because,
I think that's what I'm going to call this episode. How bad do you want it?
oh yeah, that's good.
You like that?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it just really, on the days, and I think I might have said this to you, or if not, I've said it to a lot of people. There are days where I feel like all of my wheels and gears are just spinning, and I'm problem solving, because now I've become this like serial entrepreneur, right? So I love solving problems and trying to design businesses around it, right? And so now I'm, in this whole C Corp world, which is, drinking from the fire hose, which I love. But there's days where you're just like, your brain is just going so hard, and then like an Amazon delivery will get dropped off, and I'd be like, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could just go get a job at Amazon
Totally.
and like listen to podcasts all day, but
Yeah.
I would hate it after a while. But it's like, so there are those days where you see these, glimpses of what you think another life would be like. I've never been an Amazon driver, and that's not to say that their job isn't hard in its own ways, and that's not to
Of
come across as like an
course.
insult or anything like that. It's just, what I'm doing is I'm solving problems people haven't solved before. And so,
You're a maverick.
yeah.
And mavericks are unique.
Yeah.
They have a shitload of resilience, and they are often, it's a lonely place.
It is.
because
is.
people can't understand. They can't understand the grind. They can't understand why your mind doesn't turn off. They can't understand that every time you have coffee with them, you want to talk about it.
No.
They want you to be like, well, I came here today to learn more about your hair products. And like, but you're like, no,
Right.
that's not important.
Right.
I want to talk about this because it's fueling me. And
Right.
well, how do your daughters respond to your intensity?
They do ask me, like, why do you have to work so much? I do work a lot.
Yeah.
But
What's your response when they ask you?
um I usually just say something like, because I'm trying to build for our future. And I don't mean that even in like a very immediate, like our, financially or anything like that. I mean, I'm trying to build for our future of healthcare.
Yeah.
Make it a much better grander scheme. So that way, when they're older and they have to go pursue whatever health needs they have, that maybe there is better tools in place because of something that I started.
Yeah.
So yes, obviously bills need to get paid, things like that. So there's those immediate needs.
Wait, life isn't free?
No, sadly.
Sadly, you are right. My kids said that a lot too
Yeah.
when I was raising them. And it's interesting the things that they picked up. One of the things that my daughter will say is that she remembers my suitcase always being in my room. I don't remember that, but I traveled a ton in one particular section of my career. And my suitcase was always in my room. And she said the suitcase was always there. It never left. And so it was always like, what's next?
Yeah.
And so from her lens, I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
And I think about, the choice that I made at that time because I raised my kids on my own.
Right.
And there wasn't anyone else to cover the back end if I didn't cover it. And so I don't know that I would have been able to make a different choice, but I think about that a lot. And so that's why I ask, do your kids say anything? Because especially depending on where they go to school, in Nebraska, and especially in the Omaha kind of heartland, so think about Elkhorn, Gretna, Papillion, Bellevue, there's a good amount of traditional homes with stay-at-home moms. And, the moms that are not staying at home, and I don't want to minimize the stay-at-home mom because that is an incredibly difficult role in and of itself. But for our kids, when they see that, they're like, well, my mom doesn't do that.
Right.
And so I had to talk to my kids a lot about that as a younger mother. And my son said to me once, he's 24 now, he said, well, I'm going to have a wife someday. And I said, oh, you're going to have a wife? That's great. I'm glad you're planning. Yeah. And he said, yeah, she's going to have a job. And I said, oh, he said, I'm going to let her have a job. Let me clarify. Oh, yeah. He said, I'm going to let her have a job. And I said, oh, that's so nice. Wow, what kind of man am I raising?
Yeah.
And then he said, she can be a lunch lady. And I said, lunch lady? I said, what if your wife is a doctor or a lawyer or a pilot? And he's like, no, I'm going to take care of all of us so that she can be a lunch lady and she can be at home with our kids. And so to him, because I wasn't home, in his eyes, he views that as that's not what he wants.
Being involved in
life,
like going to school because they're at school.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go help the school.
Totally.
I think it, like what you're saying, it's just a matter. It's not devaluing, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you're a working mom. It's choose your heart. Have you heard about that? Where it's like, you haven't heard this? Where people say choose your heart, and I wish I could tell you who had this quote. I don't know. I feel like I just pick up all these random things that I'm going to somebody else. But it's like being overweight is hard. Being fit is hard. Getting up and going to the gym is hard. Yes. Being rich is hard. You have to work hard. Being poor is hard. Choose your heart. It's like everything in life is a choice. So you're choosing your heart. It's not saying that one is better than the other or whatever. Everything has its own set of struggles and hardships that come with it. And you're just, what hard do I want to choose?
Yeah.
So being a stay-at-home mom is hard. Being a working mom is hard. So which hard do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
totally. I love that.
And so, yeah, it's not, again, like when I was comparing to the Amazon driver, it's not to say that there's not aspects of that job that are probably hard.
Yeah. Dogs that bite your legs.
Right. I mean, you're going out in cold, junky, crappy weather a lot of time, and where I get to work usually in an office,
Yeah.
so there's different hard aspects to everything in life. So I think a lot of times people want to find comparisons or have it be a competition of like, well, my life is harder or you wouldn't get, and it's like, why are we competing?
Right.
Everybody has their own individual, experiences and journeys, and even just what, you're going on mentally and how you process things is highly affecting what your
Totally.
reality is too. So
Totally. One time I had someone say to me in business, I said something like, we were solving a problem and I was like, well, here's what we should do. Da, 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 da. Because my mind is fast.
yeah,
And she said, Kara, not everybody can come to an answer as quickly as you can. Because I was frustrated by, like, I'm over here. Come on.
let's go. Yeah,
And she said, not everybody can think like that. And so I recognized, and I'll never have to do this again
yeah,
because I own my own company now.
sure.
I recognized that I had to like slow down to meet the need of where the other people were. Now, in my business, I'll have to use the right pace for my clients, right?
Sure.
But I want a company that encourages fast thinking, that encourages level 10 behavior, that encourages those things, because I've been so minimized in my own career
Ah,
to be like, Kara, it's too fast. You're have too many clients. Your sales are too much. And I'm over that. And I've told people recently, like, because they're like, well, why the Kirsch Group? And I said, well, business aside, there are two reasons that I am here. One is I will never have to be minimized again, and I can always be me.
yeah.
And everyone who works with me is going to love the me that I am, period. And they might not, they might be like, ooh, but at the end of the day, they're going to know I'm about them. The second is I will never sign another employment agreement. And because now, that employment agreement is going to be attached to me for a minute. And not that I can't move through it, because I absolutely can, but I will never do that again. And people who minimize me and make me feel, because I think it's bullying professionally, make me feel like I'm too much, those will not be my people. And there's plenty of people who want to be too much
Absolutely.
in whatever way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where can people find you if they want to get to know you or learn about your companies or participate in your nonprofit? Where can people find you?
Yeah. So if you just Google Inspire Collaborative Health Association, or the website is inspirehealthassociation.com. I didn't put collaborative. It was a long name anyways for the URL. So I was like, I'm going to drop the word collaborative because I'm like, I don't even know on some days if I would be able to spell that correct. So I was like, we'll drop that credit. So the website is just inspirehealthassociation.com. So you can find our directory in there.
And directory of?
All of the vetted providers that
Yeah.
are part of our association. There's a passcode to get into the directory. The passcode is INSPIRE.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to get into that and look around, you can. And again, we're in our infancy, we're just growing. And I think there is, now that we have started CAMCERTA, which you can go look up camcerta.com to learn more about that as well. They'll be partners. They're mission aligned. They're not, the goal obviously is to have CAMCERTA take off, and then we can donate back to this cause and help people pay for their non-insurance health care. Because a lot of times people will ask, oh, I would love to try this practitioner or this provider or whatever it is. And then the second question is it covered by insurance? And then when the answer is no, then they get put back into the same cycle of what they were doing that wasn't working for them. And so, yeah, the more we can get donations in and get support through the nonprofit, the more we can help those people. And we've already handed out multiple grants helping, cancer patients, mothers, caregivers, from issues from pelvic floor therapy, a mother who had a child who was having debilitating migraines for over 5 years, and they couldn't find anything that was helping. We finally got them some care that actually helped. And so, yeah, it's just, and we help them pay for it. And so we're just really making impactful differences in people's lives. And that's all I want to keep doing is just keep helping people in healthcare as much as I can. No one in this day and age where we have so many resources, and I tell people, like, I'm not team one or the other. I believe both Western and alternative medicine have their pros and their cons and their strengths and their weaknesses. And it's really just about using the best of both worlds together appropriately at the right time. And so, where we have this day and age of so much access to so many different things. No one should feel hopeless or out of options when it comes to their health. And
Yeah.
so just helping those people the best I can
Yeah.
is really what I want to continue to do.
Awesome. Well, Allison, it's been a pleasure having you today.
Thank
And
you
I've
so
loved
much.
getting to know you. And I look forward to continuing to get to
Yes.
know you. And for all of you that are tuning in today, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you're notified of future episodes. And if you want to find Allison, please do. You can always reach out to me and I can make an introduction. But I think that the content that we bring to you today is really important for us to know about and think about. And, it's all about elevating women in the space that they're in. So thank you for tuning in today. And Allison, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.